On August 17th, 6ix9ine's rumored girlfriend, Ariela Langosta Mea Polano, was shot and killed in New York. And now, just days later, explosive footage of 6ix9ine behind bars has surfaced. The timing has fans convinced her death and his arrest are connected. Could 6ix9ine have had something to do with her murder? Based on what we know, the pieces are starting to line up. Let's break it down. The Queen of New York gets gunned down. And just when you thought this story couldn't get any wilder, the plot takes a twist no one saw coming. 6 days after Ariela's body was found riddled with bullets, 6ix9ine himself was arrested on August 23rd, 2025, for violating supervised release. Tell me that timing doesn't sound suspicious. But before we get into the messy details, let's rewind. On August 17th, the streets lost a real one. Ariela, just 33 years old, was discovered shot dead inside her black Mercedes-Benz G-Class on the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon. It happened around 8 a.m. while she was on her way home from her overnight shift at Icon New York Lounge in Manhattan, where she worked as a bartender to support her 2 daughters. The medical examiner confirmed the heartbreaking truth: she died from multiple gunshot wounds. Police immediately ruled it an orchestrated hit, not some random act of violence. Ariela wasn't just a social media star with over 566,000 Instagram followers. She was part of 6ix9ine's world. She appeared in his 2023 Why music video and performed with him at clubs like Teboga Room in New York. Some called her his girlfriend, others said she was just a close friend. But either way, when someone that close to you is taken out like this, the streets are going to start asking hard questions. And here's where things heat up even more. Being tied to 6ix9ine, someone who famously snitched on the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods, comes with a target on your back. Even he admitted he knew people hated him. But now, with Ariela's death and his sudden arrest lining up back to back, the speculation is out of control.
I don't take no L's. That's why I think that's why people hate me, because I'm so arrogant and I'm so, but it's just me being like, yo, this is the truth, this is the facts. People hate the facts.
Why are you causing all these problems for yourself, sir?
I don't cause no problem, man, you know what I'm saying? I address them.
Meanwhile, social media has been lit up with theories that Ariela's murder was nothing short of retaliation for 6ix9ine's past testimony against gang members. One user summed it up with a brutal truth: that's why you don't date walking targets. Another added, being close to him is crazy, nothing good can come from it. But here's where it gets even deeper. Word on the street is Ariela was also connected to a man named Nata Cartier, described as a suspected gang leader who was questioned after her death. So now the theories split. Was Ariela executed because of 6ix9ine's history as a snitch, or did her own connections drag her into the line of fire? Either way, a vibrant young mother ended up caught in the crosshairs of deadly street politics. The crime scene told its own violent story. Her black Mercedes-Benz sat with shattered windows and bullet holes, a clear sign that this wasn't random. It was a statement. With so much heat, the Westchester County Police Department pulled in local, state, and federal agencies to investigate. Still, with no suspects named and no arrests made, the streets filled the silence with their own theories about who wanted the so-called Queen of New York dead. What made it even more haunting was Ariela's last Instagram post, dated June 7th, 2025. Smiling in a cowboy hat, she captioned it simply, "Happy and blessed." Just 2 months later, she was slaughtered on a New York highway. The contrast between joy in that post and the brutality of her end has the whole community asking, what kind of monster could do this to such a vibrant soul? When news of her murder broke, 6ix9ine took to Instagram with emotional tributes that showed a side of him the world rarely sees. Posting videos and photos of them together, he called Ariela a tremendous woman, the Queen of New York, and admitted, "NY won't ever be the same. I loved you." In Spanish, he wrote, "Yo te amo, mi negra," a message that revealed this bond went way beyond music or clout. He even paired his posts with their favorite song, Ventura's Obsession, letting the pain spill out in public. For someone usually known for trolling and chaos, seeing 6ix9ine stripped raw like this hit different. The hip-hop world and Ariela's work family echoed the heartbreak. Cardi B posted a simple tribute saluting her as a fellow Dominican queen. Icon New York Lounge, where Ariela worked, wrote, "Today we lost our shining star, your joy, your humility." And and the way you treated everyone with love made you stand out. We still can't believe it. Opus Lounge shared. With great sadness, we say goodbye to our great friend Ariella. Your light and joy were part of our best moments. Even starlets of New York honored her as a one-of-a-kind soul, a loving mother and daughter whose smile lit up every room. But while the tributes poured in, the streets kept buzzing. The loudest theory? That Ariella's murder was straight up retaliation for 6ix9ine's cooperation with the feds. When you snitch on the 9 Trey gangsta bloods, you don't just put yourself in the crosshairs, you put everyone around you in danger too. That's cold, hard street knowledge, and it looks like Ariella may have paid the ultimate price for the life 6ix9ine chose.
What's the definition of a snitch?
In this case, the definition: who rats out people that they were tight with, rats them out to law enforcement.
What's loyalty to you, Charles?
Loyalty would be that you don't snitch on the people closest on your friends.
If another TMZ staff member kidnaps you, is that loyal to you? You're working right now. If Harvey's stealing all of the money that you're making right now and gives you crumbs of it, but is taking majority of the money, is that loyal to you? These are my people. Like, how many people I beefed with in 2018? I beefed with the whole West Coast. I beefed with the Houston. I beefed with Chicago.
Back to the victim. While some folks are quick to point fingers at the rapper, most fans have been keeping it real in the comment sections. On Ariella's Instagram, you see a mix of prayers and broken heart emojis alongside harder questions. Rest in peace, beautiful soul. Followed by, he's in jail now. Wonder if it's connected. That's the kind of raw talk that shows people aren't just mourning, they're connecting the dots. The love Ariella had in her community was undeniable. In Washington Heights, outside Opus Lounge, a memorial popped up where people brought flowers, candles, and photos. Jacelia Rodriguez laid down flowers and said, "I'm very heartbroken, just knowing she had her 2 daughters. Very sad." Another mourner, Anely Hernandez, kept it blunt. "It really hurts. You know, Dominican, you know, very beautiful. Something like this, very, very sad." But what's striking people the most isn't just the tragedy itself, it's the pattern. How this murder fits into the ongoing cycle of violence that seems to follow 6ix9ine everywhere. From the viral 2023 gym beating in LA to constant beefs and threats, danger has been circling him for years. And now, with Ariella gone, that shadow feels darker than ever.
That's how they gonna treat you. Oh, Mickey Mouse clown.
Go ahead.
Take a picture.
Go ahead.
Take a picture. I want to be famous now. I want to be famous. Fuck.
Yo, this is Jump 6ix9ine, bro. Yo, homie, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm a fan, bro. No, I'm a fan. I'm just saying, bro. I'm a fan, bro. I know, I ain't jumping, bro.
From constant threats to now Ariella catching bullets. It's like death has been stalking 6ix9ine for years. And here's where the story gets even crazier. The reason the streets are buzzing that this murder ain't just another random tragedy. Days after Ariella's murder, 6ix9ine himself gets snatched up. This man went from posting emotional tributes about his sister to sitting back in federal custody, locked inside the same facility holding Diddy and Sam Bankman-Fried. The feds weren't playing either. They pulled up on him at the Thurgood Marshall U.S. Courthouse in Manhattan with none other than Judge Paul A. Engelmeyer, the same judge who sentenced him in 2019, signing off on the warrant. Now he's stuck until November 12th, 2025, waiting on his next hearing. So what really got the rainbow-haired snitch locked back up? The government laid it out plain. 3 major violations of his supervised release. Violation number 1, he dipped to Las Vegas to perform at the T-Mobile Arena without telling his probation officer. When they confronted him, he flat out lied and denied it. Rookie move. Lying to the feds is never smart. Violation number 2, he failed drug tests twice, testing positive for methamphetamine. His excuse? He tried to claim it was just his prescribed Adderall, but the feds weren't buying that story. Violation number 3, he no-showed a mandatory drug test altogether. 3 strikes in federal court? That's game over. And it don't stop there. Back in March 2025, the feds raided his Miami mansion and found MDMA pills and cocaine residue in his bedroom. By July 23rd, he had to plead guilty to 2 counts of drug possession. Prosecutors dropped the gun and fentanyl charges after DNA didn't link back to him, but the damage was already done. When he stood before the judge on August 23rd, 6ix9ine tried to plead his case. His excuses? Weak. He claimed he overslept and that's why he was late, that he thought he had permission to travel for work, and kept pushing the Adderall made me test positive line. At one point, frustrated, he even blurted out, "I'm human, bro. I've been jumped for cooperating with the federal government." That one sentence showed just how heavy his snitching past still hangs over him. The timing of this arrest is what got conspiracy theories exploding online. Some say the feds locked him up for his own protection. Others think investigators are quietly looking into whether his supervised release violations tie back to Ariella's murder. Either way, housing him at MDC Brooklyn alongside high-profile inmates proves they're treating this situation as high risk. And to understand why, you gotta rewind, because Ariella's death and 6ix9ine's paranoia all go back to one thing: the day he decided to snitch. It started in November 2018, when federal agents grabbed Daniel Hernandez in a massive takedown of the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods, one of the most violent crews tearing through New York. The indictment was no joke: racketeering, firearms charges, conspiracy to commit murder. If convicted, 6ix9ine was looking at 32 years minimum, life at worst. Instead of writing it out, he flipped. U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman made it plain. This was a gang that brought chaos to the city, and 6ix9ine was right in the mix. We're talking about him paying $20,000 to have Chief Keef shot at him, pulling off armed robberies in Times Square, and plotting murders of rivals. By January 2019, he pleaded guilty to all 9 counts and agreed to cooperate. In open court, he admitted, "I joined the 9 Trey Bloods in 2017. I paid $20,000 for someone to shoot at Chief Keef outside the W Hotel in Manhattan, just to scare him." And the biggest betrayal came that September, when he took the stand for 3 full days, testifying against 9 Trey members Anthony Harv Ellison and Algermaya Nuke Mack. That moment cemented his legacy, not as a gangster, but as the most famous snitch in hip-hop history.
And got arrested in 2018. Federal wiretaps caught 9 Trey members planning to super violate him for firing his management and dissing them on the radio. The feds warned him about a credible threat to his life, and that's why they arrested him when they did.
This dude didn't just testify, he spilled everything. 6ix9ine named names, laid out the 9 Trey's entire hierarchy, and confirmed specific crimes. He pointed to Jamel Mel Murder Jones as the Godfather and Kifano Shoddy Jordan as a high-ranking member. Prosecutors called his cooperation extraordinary and game-changing. Street translation, he told it all, and then some. His testimony sealed the fate of Anthony Harv Ellison and Algermaya Nuke Mack, both now facing life sentences. Even Judge Paul Engelmeyer praised him, saying, "Your cooperation was impressive. It was game-changing. It was complete, and it was brave." But in the same breath, he called 6ix9ine a central figure in a vicious and brutal gang. The final sentence? Just 2 years in prison with 13 months credited. Thanks to COVID-19 concerns, he walked out early in April 2020. But that freedom came with a price, and it's a price 6ix9ine has been paying ever since. And now, Ariella might have paid the ultimate cost for standing too close to him. See, federal wiretaps from 2018 caught 9 Trey members plotting to super violate 6ix9ine after he fired his management and dissed them on the radio. The feds warned him his life was in real danger. That's why they arrested him when they did. It wasn't just about charges, it was to keep him alive. Even prosecutors warned, there is no question the defendant's life will never be the same. He and his family will have to take extra safety precautions. And they weren't lying. Since then, 6ix9ine has been beaten, threatened, and now those close to him are catching bullets. What makes Ariella's murder even more suspicious is how 6ix9ine moved in the days after. The man who normally can't stay off Instagram went silent after posting tributes. And then, out of nowhere, boom, he gets arrested. Some say the feds had him under a microscope ever since Ariella's murder, just waiting for the first violation to snatch him up. Others believe those violations were nothing more than an excuse to pull him off the streets before he became the next body bag. Because with 6ix9ine's snitching past, ain't no such thing as coincidence. His August 23rd arrest, just 6 days after Ariella's execution, has fans asking if the feds know something we don't. Maybe they locked him up for protection, or maybe, just maybe, they're digging into whether his so-called violations connect back to her murder. And when you look at the pattern, the trail of violence, scandals, and abuse that's followed him for years, it's hard not to wonder if 6ix9ine's curse finally claimed someone he truly cared about. From baby mama beatings, to revenge plots, to Ariella's tragic death, the rainbow-haired rapper's dark history with women and violence just keeps getting exposed.
Okay, now you did an interview with the Daily Beast, and you talked about that throughout your relationship, there was a lot of domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Like, at what point in the relationship did the abuse first start?
It happened very early on in our relationship, like maybe a month after I moved in with him. That was the first time he put his hands on me. And I didn't know how to take that. Like, I've never had a guy put their hands on me. This is my first boyfriend. You know, I didn't know how to handle that situation.
But yo, before we wrap this up, we gotta talk about 6ix9ine's track record with women, because this pattern runs way deeper than most people realize. While the headlines always focus on his snitching and gang beefs, behind the scenes, this dude has been accused of putting hands on women for over a decade, and if you really study that history, it gives us a clearer picture of the type of man we're dealing with. Let's start with Sarah Molina, the mother of his daughter, Soraya. From 2011 to 2018, Sarah says she lived through 7 straight years of abuse. In a chilling 2019 interview with the Daily Beast, she described beatings and violence that'll make your stomach turn.
One incident was me and him was arguing. We was walking towards Marcy and by the factories. He wanted me to take pictures of him. Yeah, he punched me in my eye. Like, he punched me in my face. And it was like, I think I was trying to scuffle with him, but he punched me repeatedly and I had like 2 black eyes, and he left as soon as he did it. So I half fell asleep, and when he came back home, I guess I was sleeping, he saw my face and saw that I had like 2 black eyes. And I guess he woke me up and was like, I'm sorry, you know. He started crying.
She said this man beat her for 2 hours straight in Dubai back in October 2018, leaving her with 2 black eyes and bruises covering her body. But the worst part, she said he choked her and forced himself on her afterward, while she was still crying. Sarah kept it 100 in another interview, telling Dailymotion that there was a moment when Tekashi seemed suddenly stronger, more ferocious, more determined not just to hurt, but to injure. He even used a pillow to muffle her screams so the neighbors wouldn't hear. And here's where the truth cuts deep. This ain't just her word against his. 6ix9ine actually admitted to committing domestic violence between 2011 and November 2018 as part of his federal cooperation agreement. In open court, Judge Paul Engelmeyer confirmed it. Mr. Hernandez admits to domestic violence from 2011 to November 2018. Sarah's account of that Dubai attack reads like straight nightmare fuel. She said he accused her of sleeping with his manager, Kefano Shoddy Jordan, then snapped. He started beating me for 2 hours straight. He had the craziest look in his eyes. I was scared. After choking her, he told her, I just have to make an example. I can't have you out there making me look stupid. Then through her tears, he forced himself on her. That's not just domestic violence. That's torture. And yet, Sarah didn't leave. She had a reason that would keep her tied to him, no matter how bad things got.
But you actually didn't leave.
Yeah.
But why is that?
I don't know. In a way, I felt stuck. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt numb to this situation because he was already doing it. And the extent of how he beat me in front of my daughter, it would have been.
But it gets darker. In 2020, 6ix9ine admitted in interviews that during his years with Sarah Molina, he slept with over 70 women, spreading STDs and leaving behind multiple pregnancies. Imagine being trapped with a man who not only beats you, but cheats on you and risks your health and your child's safety. Then came Jade in 2018, who tattooed his face on her body to prove loyalty. But by 2022, she was arrested for punching him in public and snatching his chain. That's not love, that's dysfunction on display. And the wildest saga, Yalin Lamas Viral. By 2024, their toxic love turned international headlines. Her family accused him of assault, she accused him of drugging, beating, and financially controlling her, and when she finally filed a federal lawsuit, the details read like a horror script. Being punched at her daughter's baptism, he threatened with a balcony fall, even forced cosmetic surgeries. Tekashi brushed it off with money talk, bragging he bought her cars and houses. But that's textbook abuser behavior, control dressed up as generosity. And let's not forget the revenge allegations. Posting private content online, weaponizing a woman's body for humiliation. That's not just petty, that's criminal. See the pattern? 7 years of abusing Sarah, a violent, chaotic ride with Jade, a nightmare lawsuit with Yalin, and all the while, Tekashi admitted in federal court to domestic violence, but kept doing it. He betrays the very people who trust him most. First the gang, then the women closest to him. Now, nobody's saying we have proof he's tied to Ariella's murder, but history don't lie. Women around 6ix9ine end up hurt, endangered, or worse. Maybe this time the price was too high. At what point do we stop laughing at the rainbow hair and memes and start holding this man accountable for the destruction he leaves behind? If you think more people need to hear the truth behind the headlines, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe so you don't miss what we uncover next.